to 1 Million Mile Road Trip. Today we're going to make wine jelly. So what I've done is I've got everything prepped and ready, washed my jars, and now the jars are in here, and all I'm doing is putting a lid with each jar on top. It won't stay that pretty while I'm working, but it's a good try to know that I'll have to leave that like that. So then I'm going to turn the front burner on a little under high, and that will start getting these heated up. Your lids in your jars need to be heated. I have not ever tried this, but I heard you can heat your jars in the oven. One of my stepmothers told me about that. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm going to. So we're going to be making wine jelly today. We're making it out of apple, peach, grape, and muscadine. So each batch makes about 4 jars. The jelly jars here, this size, 4 jars. And my mother always told me never double the recipe, it doesn't work. I don't know, I may try it just to see. But we're gonna start with 2 cups of wine, 1 package of Jello, 1 package of Sure Gel, and 3 cups of sugar. This is wine that I made, my dad made, or he and I made together, or Tommy made. And what I'm doing, I'm making wine jelly out of what won at the fair. So the first one we're going to do is going to be apple. My dad did that. I had no part of it except helping him move buckets. So I'll make it and you'll see how pretty it is. And give me just a minute and we'll be back. So you guys know, yesterday I had to go to the urgent care. I fell coming into my dad's house, busted my knee, busted both hands, and bruised real bad over here to the point it feels like it's wrapped around and coming out my chest. But as long as I don't use this arm, okay, but my hands are not bloody, so I'm not making nasty jelly. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do, and you know, I think I'm gonna just go ahead and try doing it double the recipe, just to try. So, y'all be the first to know if it works. So we're going to get 4 cups of wine. I think there's 4 cups in here. I pre-tasted this wine last week to make sure that it was a good flavor of wine to make jelly out of. It was. I'm not going to taste it today because of my medication. Okay, that's not much left. Look, don't come on, baby. That's all that's left. Probably mix this with the others that come out about that much and make another batch of fruit jelly. All right, so there we go. There's the 2 cups of wine. We will set this back here because we'll be using it again. Now I got to get another cup. Sugar, I thought I had everything, folks. I'm sorry. Nope. That's what happens when you get ahead. 2 boxes of Sure Gel.
Show me the box.
Sure Gel. That's what you get. Alright, we're going to turn this on high. This will burn off all the alcohol. So there'll be no alcohol in this jelly, just the flavor of the wine. So all I'm going to do is pour that in like so. Put that on 6. I don't know, we'll put it on 9. 2 boxes of Jell-O. Lord, I hope this turns out. That'd be a bad waste of wine. What did I say? Sure Gel, not sugar.
Not Jell-O.
Not Jell-O. So what we have here is 4 cups of wine, 2 boxes of Sure Gel. Now, all we're going to do is stir and bring it to a boil. Shouldn't take real long. And when we made the wine, we used pectin on the fruit. So the pectin keeps the color of the fruit. In fact, I cleaned out my mother's freezer yesterday, and there were strawberries from 2019, 20, and 21. I cleaned out my mother's freezer yesterday and found about 6 pounds of strawberries. So I thawed them out last night and decided I was going to make some strawberry wine in honor of my mother, because those were the last strawberries she put up. So we shall see if it wins a prize next year at the fair. All we're doing is stirring. And it will come to a rolling, it has to come to a rolling boil. So we're going to let it come to a rolling boil, and then we will put the sugar in and come to another rolling boil. I'll probably let it boil for about a minute, and then we start on the jars.
How much sugar do you put in there?
6 cups of sugar. All right, let me get my something to grab this stuff with. So this drawer right here is the drawer for all these utensils, but my daddy doesn't think so. He says they all go right over here. And he won't listen to his daughter, who knows what goes in the kitchen drawers. But it's okay. I might have to turn this up because I started with cold water. I don't want the jelly to get thickened before my jars get ready. So we have to turn this up.
How much what's the temperature you put the jars on?
You just want them to get hot. That's it.
So what temperature
when it starts to bubble under there, they'll be hot enough.
You don't boil
those? No, they don't have to come to a boil. Thank you for asking that. And if you put them in the oven, you put them on 200 in the oven, and they get hot. But because I'm not doing well with my side, I wasn't going to try a new method. Not trying to reach down and get stuff out and stuff like that, because this side hurts. So we are working in my dad's kitchen. There's just more room, and thank goodness he doesn't care if I do this. I think part of it reminds me of Mom always being in the kitchen making jellies for Christmas giveaways.
Wouldn't work in the RV, I don't think.
No, we could make it in the RV, but it would be, I have to be 100% well, and we wouldn't be filming. You'd have to stay out my way, because this stuff gets hot. Now look, you can see there's little bubbles forming under there. See them?
Yes.
So the water's just warm. We got to get it hot. And this is starting to get ready to boil. And it'll come to a rolling boil. Let it boil for about a minute. Okay, it's getting there. I sure hope this doesn't get ready before they do. These jars need to be so hot that you can't just reach in and pick them up with your hands. You're going to have to use this. If they're not that hot, they will not seal. Or that's the trouble I've had in the past. Also, you don't have to use brand new lids. You can reuse lids. It won't matter. And if you mark on your lids, like I do, I write the date I made them, who made them, what it is on my lids, and I use a permanent marker. You can get permanent marker off that lid using a dry erase marker. You mark the dry erase over the permanent mark and then wipe it off, and it comes off. I learned that on TikTok. And it does work. I did it this morning. All right, that's come to a boil. So now, I still smell the alcohol burning off. Do you?
So we don't have smell-o-vision.
I know. I'm talking to you, silly. You. Do you smell
Yeah,
it?
I smell it.
All right, so it's been 2 minutes. Long enough. 1, 2, 3, 4. This may not have been a big enough pot. It's perfect for 3. Was that 5?
That was 4. Tell them.
Alright, so we lost count of the sugar, so this is the 6th. And I'm going to add just a little bit more because I didn't have it quite full. Alright, so that is 6 cups of sugar. And now we're going to stir it up again. And hope these things are getting ready. Alright. I don't think I'm going to have a whole lot of room to bring it to a boil, do you? It's supposed to come to a rolling boil. So I think what I'm going to have to do is put it in another pan. Watch it just a second. My mother said don't try to double it because that pan is the best pan for doing it. I don't know if I can do this.
You may do it.
I don't know. Hold on. If I don't raise my arm, it should. Oh! Shoot, that was hot. Ooh. All right. And believe it or not, this stove will be spotless when I'm done. I will get all that sugar off, don't worry.
Starting to look like it's getting hot.
Yeah. It should be by the time this comes back to a boil. I don't want it to scorch on the bottom, so that's why I'm stirring constantly. Can you turn that water off for me? Now y'all, if you want to make wine jelly, you can make it out of store-bought without a problem. In fact, I'm going to make some out of some Moscato pear wine. And maybe Moscato is always pear, I don't know, but I like Moscato wine. And so I'm going to make some out of it because I won't drink it. So may as well make jelly out of it because I will eat the jelly. Alright, this is back to a boil now. And it is a rolling boil, which means I can't stop it from boiling. So now I'm going to turn it off. Stir it just a little bit more. Make sure I got all the sugar clumps out. Y'all, this is going to be beautiful in the jars. You're going to be surprised how pretty it is. Okay, I need to wet this. No, I wet this one already. Let me wet it again. Alright. So, this wet one is for wiping the tops of the jars after you put the jelly in it. I could still smell the wine. I'm going to let that cook just a little bit longer. That was some potent wine. That was probably 20% alcohol.
Could you do it to the, you don't have a smell of alcohol?
Nah. The alcohol's burned up. It just...
The smell of it.
Yeah. I will tell you, this stuff is so good on a homemade biscuit, isn't it, Tommy?
Yes, ma'am.
Alright, so now what I'm going to do, I thought I left one jar without a lid on it, but I don't know if he took it out, I don't know. You can see they're smoking. So I'll put that in one hand. And I'm going to get it all over that towel, but that's okay. That's just keeping my hand from getting burnt. And y'all, this is the way I do it. I'm sure some of you ladies do it different. Some grandparents have taught you differently, and that's okay. All right, get my stuff right here where I can get it done. So now I'm going to wipe the lid off because I got some sticky on the lid and I don't want it to be. And again, everybody does it different. This is just me. I learned from my aunt and my grandmother. Put the lid on. Give it one tight like that, and then turn it upside down. Ask me why they turned it upside down. I don't know. It's kind of like the girl that called her mother and said, "Mom, I have a question. Why at Christmas time do you always cut the ends off a ham?" And she said, "Well, my mother always did it that way. That's why I do it." She said, "Call your grandmother." So she called her grandmother, and her grandmother, she asked her grandma, "Grandma, why do you always cut the ends off the ham?" She said, "Well, that's the way your great-grandmother always did it. Ask her." So she calls her great-grandmother. Her great-grandma, she goes, "Great-grandma, why do you always cut the ends off the ham?" "Because Mom and Grandmother do it." And she said, "Well, I did it because I didn't have a pan big enough for the ham."
Oh, that's kind of funny.
I think that's how tradition happens.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. All right, so we're going to put that on. So this is what RVers sometimes do in their part-time, when they're downtime, when they're visiting family. This is what I do. And I love doing stuff like this. I've made pear preserves. We've made fig preserves. And if you meet us on the road, I may not have much wine because the wine is hard to travel, but I should have preserves and jellies. So you can always say, "Hey, I watched that video. Sure would like to try that wine jelly," and see what you think. Now see, I made a mess on this one, so this one will have to have a bath when it cools down. But you just wipe it off on around the top, and you can see how much of a mess I made. Whew, that was bad. All right, so I told you out of one batch, we usually get almost a complete 4. So we'll see how much we're going to get out of this batch. Doubled. I'm going to finish these up and we'll be back with you in just a few minutes. So I'm doing my last jar. And sometimes that's precarious to get everything out. So hopefully I won't spill it. To transport these to over here. Oh, that was the last one. I shouldn't have shifted that first. Okay, I'm going to transport these over here, and I'm just going to wipe the jars off really good and set them there. They're hot still, whew, which they're supposed to be. And one of the most wonderful memories I have with my mother is making jelly and then getting it ready like this and sitting down and playing a game of dirty board while we counted the pops. That was always fun because when you hear the pop, it's sealed and it's good. I don't know how long. My grandmother used to pull them out all the time that were 10 years old. And now we listen for the pops. This is from the man who
I'm not a baker.
This is from the man who doesn't know the difference between cabbage and lettuce.
They look the same. Hey.
They do not. Anyway, okay. Okay. This is wine jelly that I...
Okay, start over again. Go.
I know you ain't doing this this to yourself. Stop what you're doing and let him go. Pack up all your things when you're finally